Martin, look, just get your reaction to the desperately sad news today.
I knew Jimmy very well. I was lucky enough to watch him as a player, even in his Chelsea days. And I was very young, and he was very young. And then I worked on the Saint Greavsie for a decade, and he was a fantastic footballer. But he was a remarkable man because he had such knowledge, probably not that much education, self-taught and interest in all the things in the world. And he was on the AM programme, wasn't he? TV AM.
Yeah.
Sort of dispensing that and talking to politicians and actually speaking the language of the people, which that's made him so popular. And he went from literally, and sad to say this, but from the gutter to being one of the most recognisable and loved person on television in the country, and an extraordinary life, really. And the only, I think, and I send my deepest sympathies to his family, is that he's been ill for a while, and I hope he's gone to a better place, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people would concur those thoughts. You know, what we're hearing is that he wasn't flamboyant. You know, this is Harry Redknapp saying, you know, he still had his clothes on 15 minutes to kick off. You know, this was the character of the man that you got in the dressing room, but we also got that outside the dressing room as well. He was warm, he was generous, he was loving, he was kind. You know, all the right words, all the right adjectives are being used to describe him today, aren't they?
First and foremost, he was just a wonderful footballer. I think at Chelsea, I genuinely believe, and there are people obviously disagreeing with this, but I think he's the greatest player Chelsea have ever had, because he was raw, straight from school, basically, straight off the bus from Dagenham to the training ground, you know, down to earth. And he played a little bit like Messi, but the pitches were dreadful.
Yeah.
And defenders, Jimmy, you know, could kick Jimmy all over the place, and he still just got on with it, glided past people on these boggy surfaces, made the top-class defenders look completely inadequate. And his goal-scoring record in the top flight of English football is just amazing. A brilliant footballer, but as we've said, an engaging guy, and all the things I would concur with all the things you just said.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie, where would he rank, do you think, in today's game? You know, a character like Jimmy Greaves?
Oh, he would be one of the best players in the world, without a question of it. You know, he was an incredible football player. I mean, me coming through the academy at Spurs, is as soon as you walk in at Spurs, you have to know about Jimmy Greaves. You know, his legacy and what he did for the club and how he was, and you know, he would be. I mean, he's a legend, right, and a football icon. And Spurs were very lucky to, you know, have him part of the football club for a long period of time. But if you're talking about a player who is playing now, and he'd be the first name on the team sheet in probably everyone's team. So an incredible football player, an icon, and someone who leaves a legacy in the game, which is not easily done.
Yeah, sorry.
I was just going to tell a little story that from my research, really, that he didn't win the league with Spurs. He came the year after the double and replaced Clive Allen's dad, Les Allen, and obviously that was tough for Les, who was doing very well, but Jimmy was Jimmy. But I think it was 1960, around Easter time, he scored at White Hart Lane for Chelsea. And he stopped Tottenham winning the league. Yeah. And Burnley went on to win it that season. And that goal, and Spurs were getting to be the champions that they were soon to become. So that one little folk story from his Chelsea time. And the other story that he always used to tell me is that he was on penalties for England. I think for 50 games of his international career, he was on penalties, and they didn't get one penalty in that time. I think Harry Kane's had so many, obviously, in that time. And you think he would be probably way ahead of what Wayne Rooney's figures are now if he got some penalties.
Well, it's ridiculous for England. His goal scoring.
44 and 57, didn't we read earlier?
And
no penalties.
And no penalties.
Incredible,
I mean, incredible to score that sort of goals, and at that level is, you know, it's no mean feat. I mean, you're talking about a player who's probably one of the best players ever. You know, so absolutely, you know, lucky that he played for Spurs and is a true icon.
Yeah, and the fact that today, you know, he played for Spurs, he played for Chelsea. Actually, it's fitting that we're here, isn't it? Really.
Absolutely. I mean, really, it's a great occasion with the crest of the two clubs up, to be able to pay tribute to a legendary footballer, but also a legendary bloke. I promise you, I could talk for the rest of the show about the times we had working on the Saint Greavsie, his sense of humour, and his desire to see football done the right way. He was just, in the words of the dressing room, proper. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's been brilliant to have you along. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today, Martin.